It seems as if the 44-year-old missing person case of Charles and Catherine Roemer has finally been solved. 73-year-old Charles and 75-year-old Catherine were from New York, but they were snowbirds, so they had a place in Miami, Florida that they would escape to every winter to escape the cold northern winters. On April the 8th, 1980, Charles and Catherine left their luxury high-rise apartment in Miami, Florida, headed back to their home in New York. Now, this was a trip they had made many times, and along the way home, they had specific places, specific hotels, in specific towns where they always stopped to stay the night. The first stop on their way home was always the same Holiday Inn in Brunswick, Georgia. And on April 8th, 1980, they checked into their Holiday Inn, they unloaded their car, unpacked some of their things, and they never checked out of the hotel. Their initial reservation was only for one night, and it wasn't really until about 4 days later that hotel staff realized that something's not right. The couple is missing, and their car is missing. Their car was a custom 1978 Lincoln Continental, and there were several reports around that time, around April the 8th, of multiple law enforcement separately spotting this vehicle. And none of those sightings were really ever confirmed, but one of those sightings was around 5 p.m., where a state trooper saw the vehicle parked kind of in a strip mall where there were a lot of restaurants around. And that was just about an hour and a half after they checked into their room at the Holiday Inn. And around the same time that the hotel staff realizes that the couple never checked out, their son realized that it was time for them to be home, and they had not yet made it home. So their son starts calling all of the different hotels that he knows that his parents normally stay at on their drive from Miami back to New York. He started with the ones closest to New York, made it all the way down to one in South Carolina, and when that location said they had never checked in for their reservation, then he called the one in Brunswick, Georgia. And that's when he learned that they were missing. So law enforcement gains entry into their hotel room, and they don't really find anything amiss at all. Their luggage is in there. Some of their belongings are hanging up. There is a bottle of scotch with 2 empty glasses and Charles's journal. Now, he always kept a very meticulous journal, just detailing his travels. He had started a journal entry for April the 8th, but it had not been completed. And so all of these years go by, they involved the GBI, and it was a huge, huge missing persons case, and it just turned cold because there was absolutely no evidence or no clues as to what happened to Charles and Catherine. A couple of days ago, a man named Jason Serrata, who has this interesting sonar device that he uses to search bodies of water for missing people, he takes off work, he drives there to Georgia to search this pond right beside the Holiday Inn. Here's an aerial view. Here's the hotel swimming pool. Here is this body of water that Jason was searching with that sonar device. It also borders I-95. And what do you know? Jason makes a discovery, calls a diver, calls law enforcement. They begin to drain this pond. This is like currently ongoing right now as I speak. And they find that Lincoln Continental with human remains inside. And here's another image of the top of that Lincoln. And for decades, law enforcement just did not have any idea as to what could have happened to Charles and Catherine. Obviously, they were very wealthy. In the hotel room, they found $500,000 worth of diamonds and gold jewelry that belonged to Catherine, and they said that when she went missing, she was wearing another $125,000 worth of expensive jewelry. So they weren't sure if maybe someone had targeted them because they knew that they were wealthy, or really what happened. But it looks like now we finally have an answer to this disappearance that occurred in 1980.